So it seems that we have even more going on with the entire Kirsche situation. Now, if you don't know, I've covered Kirsche in a couple of videos. Obviously, one of them, I went through some of her past and kind of gave you a, I hope, kind of neutral stance on some of the things that she's been accused of, and went through some of that Vice article where apparently, you know, she's been getting pretty heavily slated by a lot of these news companies and pretty slated by a lot of other people as well, due to Rin Penrose actually leaving Gamersubs due to the fact of some things that Kirsche has said, and also it could also be partially because of the sinder situation as well, which went on. But essentially, you know, Kirsche has been a pretty controversial figure in the kind of VTubing sphere, obviously because the VTubing sphere is very happy and positive, and, you know, they don't like to delve into a lot of the stuff that Kirsche actually goes into. Now, obviously, I showed you guys all the evidence and stuff behind some of the things that she said, which I don't, you know, fully agree with. But at the same time, I do think this situation now has gotten pretty crazy, because this game right here over on Steam has actually dropped Kirsche from kind of sponsorship, from partnership, or whatever you want to call it. And I think it is pretty crazy. It's called Crime Boss Roque City. I don't know what this game is at all. I've never seen it in my entire life. But essentially, they've just been hit by a massive review bomb. And I wasn't sure what this was at first. As you can see here, look at those charts, 200 negative, 147 negative. So again, these are getting hit very, very, very hard by Kirsche's audience, due to the fact that she was actually dropped. You can see here, Kirsche just lost her sponsorship with the game Crime Boss. The fact that a sponsor that hasn't even been name dropped her based on what she's been saying and doing speaks volumes. And obviously a lot of people were calling for Gamersubs to do something similar. But as I said, I feel like this is something that I prefer with Gamersubs, is the fact that they don't just drop someone over some weird like Twitter stuff or whatever. They don't care at all. And, you know, I don't think, you know, a company should care too much about it unless they are actively damaging the reputation of the company itself, which I just don't think is the case. Obviously, some people have stopped buying their products and stuff because she's partnered with them, but at the end of the day, you know, were they even going to buy products in the beginning? Now, obviously, this is a post by Binted, who has been, pretty much going after Kirsche quite a bit. And it's been kind of weird to see. He's been kind of schizoing out over on Twitter and just kind of constantly posting about it. Now, this is actually a clip from Kirsche on stream. Now, obviously, you know, Kirsche's streams are quite long and they're often not clipped up. So it's kind of hard to see, you know, how much she actually talked about this at length. But here is the clip itself.
The only marketing they had. I am the reason for their success. I brought thousands, tens of thousands of people to that fucking game. Like, it's insane. Insane that they weren't even getting any heat. They weren't even getting tagged anywhere. Nobody even knew that I was partnered with them. And out of everyone, they were the ones to drop me. They made more off of me than I made off of them. And they dropped me. So I completely agree with Asmongold. If you didn't buy the game, please don't leave bad reviews, right? Don't brigade. Only if you bought the game, only if you spent money. Change your review to negative, send them emails, tag them on Twitter. Make sure you know that actual paying customers are upset with their decision. Again, don't be rude, don't be insulting, right? If I see people insulting them, I'm going to be mad at you. I might ban you, I don't know. But I don't want people to, like, insult them. Be cordial. The only marketing they had. I am the reason for their success. I brought thousands, tens of thousands of...
So, yeah, that's pretty much the entire clip. Obviously, I feel like she's had a very long past with Crime Boss here, and essentially has bought them a lot of money, as you know, she says in that clip. Now, I don't know the whole lore behind this partnership and how much money she's exactly brought over to them, but if what she's saying is true, then obviously that is pretty crazy. And the fact that, you know, she's been bringing them more money than they've been bringing her, it's insane, and they still decide to drop her. And, you know, it's a very important thing to point out there that they hadn't been getting any heat. There's no kind of people advocating for her to be kicked from there, or there's no people advocating for them, you know, to be removed. Like, you know, for example, we've seen with Gamersubs, there's been tons of people over there advocating for it over on Twitter for her to be removed. But this one they haven't, and they were one of the first companies to actually drop her, which is crazy, seeing as they were getting no heat at all, and they were only making money off her. And now they've decided to drop her in the end, and now they're pretty much seeing the consequences. Now, you know, lots of people are, you know, saying, for example, like Binted here, Kirsche, by the way, is encouraging fans to harass the studio and review bomb the game. In case you're wondering how she views her sponsors, she's very much pro-harassment if they cross her. Now, as we saw in that clip there, you know, she literally said herself, she doesn't want any people who haven't bought the game to go ahead and review bomb it, which I think is definitely a more sensible way to go about it. I still think it is kind of review bombing, even if you are a paying customer, but she's saying, you know, you should have at least played and paid for the game if you want to leave a negative review, which honestly, you know, if that is something that a kind of paying customer wants to do, then sure, but I feel like you are still kind of guiding your audience to go ahead and review it negatively over this situation, and not because the game itself is bad. Now, I don't know if the game itself is bad. I've never played it. I don't know what the hell it is. Maybe it is bad and it does actually need some negative reviews, but at the same time, you know, I feel like, you know, telling your fans to go over there if they've paid to kind of leave a negative review isn't really the play. But at the same time, I can understand why she is very upset and angry about it. And obviously, she said, you know, don't leave any insulting or hateful comments there. Just, you know, put some constructive ones in there, which I think is a much better way to go about it. But at the same time, you are still kind of getting your audience to go over to that page and essentially review bomb it. And well, as you can see, it definitely worked. You know, there's been over, what, like 240, and then as we look at the other one, 140. So yeah, around about 280 to around 300 negative reviews in the past 2 days, which is absolutely insane to see. And they've gone from a more positive rating now to a very mixed rating, which is absolutely insane. And they've been getting a lot of heat recently. Now, this game came out back in June 2024, so it's been out for almost a year now, and yeah, people are not happy. They're saying, you know, dropping your partner out of fear for a hate mob, disappointing. Such cowardly behavior is unfortunate. For those seeking my actual thoughts on the game, it's Payday 2, but not as good. That's it. My negative review is almost purely because of the developers' rat-like nature of bending to outrage mobs and slander to protect their own skin. You know, dropping a partner that's been supporting you and your company for years for free, all because of a hit piece by Vice a Vice article, while she was on vacation. This is so wrong that you dropped someone that helped build up this game uninstalled. And yeah, it seems like she did have a pretty big part to play in terms of like building up the game and getting it more popular. They say very disappointing that you actively went out your way to distance yourself from Kirsche, despite the fact that she promoted you for free. You know, obviously we can keep going down. There's a lot of recommended ones, obviously, because it's still a decent game, I think. They say, well, I like the game. It's like Payday, but I've had a lot more fun. I cannot recommend this game in its current state. Again, I feel like some of these are, you know, obviously targeted. Actually, no, these ones are older ones, so I don't think these are even targeted towards that. But again, it seems like there was a lot of people kind of, brigading these posts. They're saying dropping your partner out of fear and hate mob, disappointing. We already saw that one. But again, it's just a really, really weird situation going on at the moment. And honestly, as I said, I don't really condone a lot of these sending people over to kind of mass report it and everything like that. But at the same time, I do understand the frustration of being dropped by a game and being dropped over a game for something very little. I feel like they should have never done that. And that is definitely an L on the company's part for Crime Boss or whatever they're called. Also there's this other tweet as well, which said, Kirsche loves your game so much. She's your biggest marketing partner. You drop her, I drop you. I've uninstalled your game and I will never support your game. I'll be leaving a negative review on Steam too. So did they drop her? Yup. Reminder, anyone who's bought the game in the last 14 days and has played less than 2 hours can get a refund. Game is dead without Kirsche. Be careful, for that was angered Kirsche. Same, uninstalled and in-game studios has blocked me on Steam. I will never spend a single penny on any product. So again, it seems like they might be going ahead and blocking some people as well, which is kind of crazy. This studio is very old, by the way. 2012, that was their last tweet, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know, and obviously I've gone through a lot of the kind of negative reviews there. That is pretty much all the information you need to know on the situation. And I thought it was, just a pretty insane one overall. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think that, Kirsche deserved to be dropped by this company? I don't think so. I feel like, obviously in my opinion, I think that, she should be entitled to all the sponsors that she has. But hey, this has happened. People are now attacking the game and it's gotten pretty bad. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also go to Game Subs, use my code CASA, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. They got like a new event on at the moment, which I definitely recommend checking out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.